Persperity Podcast. In the shadows we find our light. Through the struggles we will take flight. Healing hearts and mending minds. Together we'll leave the past behind. Welcome to Persperity Podcast, where hope is found. Voices rising up, breaking new ground. With every story shared, we grow and learn. In this journey of healing, it's our turn. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Oh yeah. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Trauma whispers, but love will shout. In this space of trust, there's no doubt. We'll explore the depths of pain and grace, finding strength in every embrace. Welcome to Persperity Podcast, where hope is found. Voices rising up, breaking new ground. With every story shared, we grow and learn. In this journey of healing, it's our turn. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Take a breath and join the ride. Together we'll walk side by side with open hearts and open minds. In this podcast space, true peace we'll find. Welcome to Persperity Podcast, where hope is found. Voices rising up, breaking new ground. With every story shared, we grow and learn. In this journey of healing, it's our turn. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Persperity Podcast, a safe space for people healing from trauma. Persperity Podcast, a safe space for people healing from trauma. Persperity Podcast, a safe space for people healing from trauma.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Persperity Podcast. I see that you all, you see a new face that I have. It may not be familiar for many of you, but we have an amazing conversation set today with the amazing Amy Anderson. And the topic is finding your voice, standing on business and faith. We are thrilled to have Amy Anderson today. Amy is a passionate entrepreneur and a true representation of standing on business. Join us as we dive into her journey of discovering her unique voice, the challenges she's faced in balancing her faith, and powerful insights she has gained along the way. If you're someone seeking to strengthen your faith, this conversation promises to inspire and empower you. So sit back, relax, and let's embark on this enlightening journey together with Amy Anderson. Now, I'm going to give Amy the floor. Talk a little bit about yourself.
Oh gosh, what can I say? Well, I hail from the wonderful city of St. Louis, Missouri. I am a triplet, all girls, and we'll get into that later, I'm assuming. Um, what can I say, Destiny? I'm married. My husband and I'll be married for 12 years this year. Yay. I started my own business a few years ago because I retired. So I'm a housewife, but I also dibble and dabble with baking online, which is my cooking channel. You can catch me on YouTube. I'm going to start it back up on Diane's Delight. Recipe cooking made easy. So I think is that good, Destiny, or should I delve in a little bit more?
That's good. If you want to, go ahead. You on a roll. Go ahead.
I think that's all I got right off the dome. That's all I got right now. Yeah, I'm a little nervous, but yeah, that's all I got right now. Unless you have other questions.
Oh no, we good. No, like I have these questions that I'm about to get into. So you want to go ahead and transition to those?
Let's do it.
All right. All right, Amy. Can you share a bit about your background and what led you to focus on finding your voice and standing on business?
Yes, I certainly can. Okay, so excuse me. I mentioned that I am a triplet, and though I am the oldest triplet, I came first, and then my other two sisters came after me. Um, I grew up pretty timid. I was a very timid young lady. My sisters normally, because they're a lot more outgoing than I am per se. Um, so they will always speak. Like if someone asks a question, they was always speak. One of my sisters, I'm gonna call her out. Hey sis, if you watch it, but I'm not gonna say which sister. But they would say, "Who's the boss?" And this is what I am. So I never really had to really say much of anything. I was already quiet, shy, pretty timid. I never really liked to ruffle feathers. So that was me as a child. And what caused me to really transition into that, to change a little bit more and to find my voice, it really started when I was like about 19 years old. My sisters and I, we had been through some family issues. To keep it light, we've been through a lot of family issues. And so we had decided we were going to go to school our first year of college together. We were going to go to college together. So we decided we were going to go to Missouri Western over in St. Joseph, Missouri. So we went there. We finished the first semester, and then we decided we were going to go and visit, like for spring break, we were going to go to MTSU, Middle Tennessee State University. So we went there on our spring break, our first year of college. Well, after we went there, my sisters were like, "Yeah, we're going to be going here, blah, blah, blah." In the back of my mind, I was like, this just don't sit right in my spirit, because by then I was already born again. I attended a church back in St. Louis, which is Believer's Temple. Where he was my pastor then, but he's my godfather now. He had really adopted my sisters and I into their family, so I had the foundation of God from going there. And so when my sisters were like, "Hey, we're going to go to college, we're going to go and switch to MTSU our second year," it didn't sit right in my spirit. I was like, I don't think that's what God is saying. And I'm 19. I'm like, I don't think that's what God is saying. So needless to say, my journey started about that time when I was like, no, I don't think that's what God is saying. I think He's telling me to go back to Missouri Western. So that pushed me into a place, because again, I've always been able to hide behind my sisters. They've always been the planners and speak up and things like that. And I'm kind of just in the cut. So, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I heard some feedback. Okay. So needless to say, what kind of forced me into finding my voice was that second year when I went to college by myself, and I decided to stay at Missouri Western, where my sisters went to Middle Tennessee State University. So I no longer had anybody to hide behind, and it forced me into an arena of speaking up and trusting God in a way that I never even knew. Like I never knew some of the things that He had placed in me until He put me in a place where it's just He and I, literally just He and I, in a city where I didn't know anybody besides the people I went to college with. No family, just my friends that I knew from school that I met in college. That started it for me.
So is that how you came to Kansas City?
Oh gosh, that's a long story. Do we have time?
I mean, go ahead.
so,
Because you know that's what I
so
needed to.
So how I ended up in Kansas City. So literally, I'm in St. Joseph. I'm in school, and I was in campus ministry, a ministry called LEV at Missouri Western, and I was on that campus ministry. And one of the leaders of the ministry, his name is Buddy. He would play pastors' tapes. We would listen to, in our leadership team, we would listen to pastors at the time VHS tapes, not a cassette, but we would listen to his VHS tapes. In our leadership for training, we would listen to Pastor Halp, in case you all don't know, that's my pastor. So Pastor, we would listen to him, Pastor Halp of Harvest Church in Kansas City, Missouri. So we would listen to his VHS tapes. And I was like, oh my God, I never, huh?
VHS.
Yes, girl. That, that's like the 2000s, girl. That's like 2001. VHS was still going on then. So I would listen to his messages. Long story short, we had got wind. We found out that Bishop T.D. Jakes would be coming to Kansas City, and he would be at the church, Harvest Church, where we were listening to those leadership VHSs in St. Joseph. So we all decided we're going to come up, we're going to, listen here and hear Bishop T.D. Jakes teach in Kansas City. So needless to say, I knew Pastor before I knew Pastor, because we were listening to his VHS tapes. So I was in college. We came down to hear Bishop T.D. Jakes, who was coming to the city. And then after that, I had already been listening to those messages from my leadership days. So I started visiting the church. And then I was like, oh my, it was just something I had never heard before. The word that I heard teaching. Not that my godfather's an amazing teacher. I'm not saying it like that, but my spirit was drawn to there, like to Harvest Church for our pastor. So needless to say, I would be driving back. Eventually, I was visiting for a few months, and I was like, I just need to join. So long story short, I ended up coming, and I was in Kansas City a lot while in school. And eventually, I just made the move, but I was kind of forced into making the move because I was having some challenges with my roommate, and I hadn't planned on moving to Kansas City. I was okay with coming to a band rehearsal and doing all of that, but I was having challenges with my roommate. So I ended up staying with a family. I don't want to put the family on out here like that because they may not want me to share their names and stuff. But I ended up living with a family that goes to Harvest Church, our church, and that's how I ended up in Kansas City because I was really okay with just going back and forth. But because of the issues I was having with my roommate, that's what forced me to actually make the move to Kansas City. But after I moved to Kansas City, I was here for a few years, and then I ended up moving to Las Vegas because my father, he lives in Las Vegas. So I moved there for about 2 years, and then our mother passed away, and the Lord said, "You going back to Kansas City?" And I said, "What? No, because I already did that thing of being apart from my family, not having any of my family in the city. It was such a very challenging time of my life, and I did not want to come back. I did not want to come back because my mother had just died. She hadn't even been in the grave a year, and the Lord was saying, "You going back?" And I was like, "Going back? Where are we going back to?" But I came back because the Lord sent me back here in 2009, and I've been here ever since. That's the short story.
Wow. Okay. 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 All right. So, um, what
Well,
do you
let me ask you, can I ask you a question?
go ahead?
Because you here in Kansas City too. So what brought you to Kansas City?
Um, Honestly, the backstory of that is my trauma, the things I had went through, but mainly because I graduated high school and I got accepted to Park University in Parkville, Missouri.
Nice.
And I was homeless and everything. I didn't even know what I was expecting coming here. I just know that it couldn't even be any harder than St. Louis's. Look, a lot of people don't know this, but I was homeless out there on St. Louis Avenue. You know that's the roughest part of St. Louis.
Girl.
Hey, it was rough. Um, but I held mine. Look, I ain't beefing nobody. Honestly, I was pretty chill. I picked up a lot of cool people along the way. A lot of people be like, how she survived? Hey, I learned street real fast. But hey, they was still my stumping ground because I grew up um in the area of 49, north side. But aside from that, came here for school and I just knew I wasn't turning back. I wasn't turning back to Winsville. I wasn't turning back to St. Louis. And kind of liked it. And here I am. I mean, which leads me to how did we meet, Amy?
Ooh, the shade. Is it shade, Destiny? I'm feeling a little shady. But so what had happened was one day this is when I was still working in corporate America. And it was such a long day. God, I thank you for delivering me from corporate America. But I was trying to get a quick meal.
We're gonna blame it on
Oh,
corporate America. All right.
huh? I was trying to get a quick meal. I just came from work. My husband had just picked me up from the job, and we was trying to get something to eat before Wednesday service. I go through the drive-through. I can't remember the whole story, but all I remember is that they got our order completely wrong. Destiny, you have a different way of seeing it, so just know when you tell your side, I am going to be chiming in.
But you didn't order it wrong. They got your order wrong. I
Right.
remember.
I didn't order wrong. They got my order wrong. So it was a rough day. And I do try to represent the Lord well. I mean, to be frank, I do. So I went in there and in my flesh, I was like furious, like, oh my God, because we was on a time crunch. I'm like, these people, I already had to wait a long time. And not only did I have to wait a long time, but you messed up my order. So I was like, baby, they done messed up this order. So we pull in and we park and we go in. Destiny, this when you come in, and then I'm gonna chime in because I don't know how yours was. Destiny have a whole different view of how this happened. But I went in there, I was calm. I was a little frustrated, but I'm not one to go off on people. Destiny, but go ahead. How did it happen to you? I met Destiny at Popeyes. She was working there.
So this is so it was one of them days like that movie Kiki Palmer and what's name, it was one of them days, you know what I mean? So it was a lot going on in my life. But next thing I know, well, it was messing up a lot of people's orders. I was on the front, but the person that was you came in there and she was just ready.
Already.
She was just ready. That's what I'm saying. The coworker was ready. That's why I was like, I got this. I saw you come in. This is what Amy did. Amy pulled one and she said, and she threw that chicken on the counter.
No, that did not happen.
You did. You said I repeated my. You said I repeated my order to y'all multiple times.
No, that did not happen.
Next thing I know, Jason stepped back. He's like, "Oh
no, that did not happen.
She got it.
I did not do chicken."
And she did. Like, no, I'm saying she slid on because she. I told y'all.
Destiny, that is not.
If y'all know when she get mad, she looking up. I don't know what's up. I think she's trying to find the comments. But she
I'm
up.
praying. Lord, help me not to act up and embarrass you in this store.
So I was like, I got this. And you was just like, I told them multiple times. I was like, yes, yeah. I said, how can we fix it? And you could talk, and then I
feel like I was being nice, Destiny. I think you. This one.
She came in there passive aggressive, y'all. But
no,
when it come to food, she's like that.
Destiny, we have a different perspective of what happened. That is not what happened.
Or Jason that, because he know you came in there, he was like this, with his hands in his pocket.
No, he didn't.
He got it. All I know, he stepped to the back. No,
everybody know I'm sweet and nice, but no, I'm assertive.
I'm not saying that she not sweet, y'all, but I'm just saying she had time that day because the order
I did come in.
And she was just all right, y'all. She was ready for whatever. Somebody was gonna come at her. She was about to come back.
No, it wasn't. No.
St. Louis stepped into Kansas City's Popeyes. That's all.
Well, the St. Louis demeanor that let them know I'm not playing. I probably looked very serious, like y'all missed my order. Oh, yeah. It was probably like I repeated my order a couple of times, and somehow it's still.
You didn't sound like that. Come on now, Amy. Come on now.
I know my voice wasn't elevated. I was assertive.
Come on now. You was. I didn't repeat my order.
No, it was not. Destiny,
I was like,
look, we're gonna have to agree to disagree.
I told him, I said, I got this. And then I started the conversation because this conversation that we having right now, it was a start of how I came to Harvest Church because the Popeye situation. I'm telling you, because I asked her, I said, you on your way to church? You said, how you know that? You switch gears.
See, that's how you know I wasn't, for her to know I was on my way to church.
I didn't know that.
Been acting a fool, y'all.
That's the thing is, before you came in, it was an old white couple that was going to church too. And I saw you coming. I was like, you know what? It's Wednesday. So I assumed because y'all was dressed like the way y'all dressed. That's why I said, hey, y'all on your way to Bible study or something like that to church? Something you said, yeah, how you know that? I was like, I really didn't. I'm just
because I was sweet and kind. That's how you knew.
Okay, you sweet and kind. I say passive aggressive, but it's okay. I'm very much passive aggressive and ready to go to 1,000. No. I'm standing on business by my food. Amy, this is standing on business. You got to stand on what you did. It's okay. She came in.
I was assertive.
I'm saying, I got this.
Which a lot of people here don't get. That is the culture of St. Louis.
And then on time,
very assertive.
She got a free piece of chicken in it. That's all I'm saying. But she told me she was. I threw some free chicken. But the thing is
I don't remember that chicken. You gonna have to give me my chicken because I so don't remember no free chicken.
Hey, look, I got degrees now. I don't work in no Popeye. I don't do that no more. I don't do that. But
he's a good guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he was a good, great guy.
You ain't at that Popeyes no more.
I sure ain't.
I ain't been back either. Or have I?
You probably have.
I have. I'm lying. I have been back.
But I'm saying, so I asked her, so what church you going to? She said Harvest Church. I said Harvesters? She said Harvest Church up on Quarantine. I remember word from word. And that's when Jason stepped forward. That's because he knew it was clear. The close was clear.
Boo!
he did. Jason stepped forward.
Oh.
Yeah. I think he already know when she ready to go. Let me go ahead and step back. I know you got it.
Look, it was a rough day. I'm not gonna lie, that day, because during those times it was getting really rough on my job, so I was under a lot of stress, and yeah, ain't no excuse. I feel like I did handle it really good.
You did.
Maybe I didn't see myself the way that you saw me,
I just thought it was.
but
It's funny now because when I tell people, they be like, "How you come? How did you come to Harvest Church? Popeye's chicken." 100%. I tell them it started at Popeye's chicken. I said that to somebody at church. I think it was the lady named Sherry. I said I came here from like I was at Popeye's chicken and somebody came. She said the one on Antioch. I said, "Damn, how you know that?" Oh no, she's
we
like,
all be
"Oh,
trying to,
that's
when
no people order."
you trying to get your food on the go because you trying to be on time.
Yeah, but
Because
most
I'm a
people
timely person.
Yeah, but most people don't know that I didn't come to Harvest Church through Miss Freeman. I came to Harvest Church through you. And I said on my last podcast, I think it was a podcast ago, that I was struggling really bad. And I had no idea because I ended up contacting the college coordinator, which ended up being Miss Freeman. And she ended up contacting y'all. And then we met at the High V. And I remember y'all blessed me with some things that I needed.
Girl, you about to make me cry. Desi, no, don't get that started right now. That just touched my heart right there, just thinking back how far you come, girl.
For sure, because I was in that place all by myself. Like a lot of people didn't know during the time I didn't have heat because I couldn't afford it. And I didn't have soap. I didn't have a lot of stuff. And I remember you and Jason were like,
Jesus.
"What do you need?" And you went and you brought me detergent. You brought me body wash. He was like, "Well, what else you need?" And y'all just got me a whole bunch of stuff. And I
And
remember that.
get this, Destiny. Do you know during that time when we was buying you that stuff, me and my husband was going through financially too. It was such a sacrifice. But it was so God. We was really going through it. But God allowed that. Like in my heart, if I feel the Holy Spirit say do it, we do it. It was a blessing, to be
It
able
was.
to.
It blessed me because even doing it, like I said, I was going through a lot, and it's just like it was a period of a time where I'm gonna get into it where I didn't know you was going through stuff, and we distant, and I was like, damn, she just throw me them and free me, and it really did hurt my feelings, but I had to learn that it wasn't even about me. It was about a lot of things that I didn't understand or comprehend, and
Oh,
that
and I'm
was.
glad that you said that we're gonna talk about that. I ain't gonna go into it now, but I don't mind talking about that either, Destiny.
I mean, let's talk about it. We
Let's
live,
go.
we live, but I just I had to, and it's like we had that conversation like last year recently where you was just like, okay, you said, da 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 da, and I was like, okay, because I had to realize like a lot of my past trauma involved like my birth father, my birth mother, and a lot of my biological family, immediate family would like literally abandon me and
Yeah.
being abusive in all the abuses. So it's just like for me, I'm like, okay, there goes another person where I just feel like that just I'm not worthy. But it was more
Oh,
so
Destiny, you gonna make me cry when you say that like that.
I'm saying that was about me and my trauma. But when I started actually diving deep into therapy, like diving deep into these issues and problems that I was not, the things that I thought were small that were actually big problems in therapy, it hit different. I realized this
Yeah.
stuff ain't even about me. You know what I mean? It's like it's teach his own, but I had to learn that protecting my peace for sure. Because if I'm not ready to address something, I know for a fact um I'm just going to be completely nonchalant about it. But because I don't know how to address it, it's
Yeah.
not that I'm mad at a person. I just be like, I don't even know how to address this. I'm still like when you first met me. I don't know if you know the difference between now and then. It was hard for me.
Girl, absolutely.
But I'm saying,
Yes, I
but
know
it
the
was hard
difference.
for me to articulate my words and my feelings and my emotions. I was just angry.
It's
I
like
was
night and day. It's a night and day difference.
Yeah, because it's like a lot of people don't know that. They be like, she articulates herself very well, so she knows this and she knows that she understands this. I'm still learning because if you see me then, and that's crazy, it's almost it will be. Oh my gosh, it's 8 years this year. I think it was back in 2018.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, we coming up on some time, almost hitting 10 years. But glory be to God. But yeah, you wanted to touch on that situation. Go ahead.
Yes, because when you first came into my life, again, I was still working at corporate America. I had already started going to therapy. Um, I wasn't really good at really, I don't want to say I wasn't lying, but I never really was completely honest about my capacity because I kind of grew up, for me personally, being that I'm a multiple, I'm a triplet. So I'm kind of the person that's always like try to be peaceful, perfect. If I can't do something, it used to make my self worth feel very low. Like I kind of found my self worth in being able to do everything for everybody else, even if I'm not in the best space. So I always completely I'll say upfront with what I was able to do. So even during that time, I knew you needed something. And I don't know, I don't want to feel like I'm saying I have to be careful, but I'm gonna say it this way, Destiny.
Go ahead.
Some ways that I experienced while you were going through the healing process was triggering for me.
Understood.
Because sometimes the way that you would say things to me was triggering for me, and I didn't know how to handle it. But I wanted to be like a sister like that you needed. But at the same time, I was having the things that I was walking out as well, because I have some traumas too that I've had to walk out. So I used to think about it. God, I was so regretful. Like, God, I'm so sorry, because I feel like I mishandled you, and I felt not intentionally, but I don't feel like I showed up for you in the capacity that you needed, because I too was dealing with trauma, and I was in therapy too. And some things that were happening, it was triggering for me because of my own things that I was walking out of. So I've said this privately, but publicly, to this day, I'm so sorry for that, because I didn't know how to really say, look, I want to do this right now. And I prided myself on being perfect. And to admit that this is an area for me or a flaw, it felt like, something's wrong with me. Like I didn't like to really admit that, ooh, Amy got issues too. Because it was easy for me to put on a facade and act like I have it all together when I could be really struggling, because I had learned to mask my truths, because I've been good at it for a very, very, very long time. And it hasn't been like my husband told me, probably when I left corporate America, and I was really forced into doing that. I left on my own accord, but it was because the Lord told me to leave that job. And my husband was like, that's too much. You need to leave, because what he was doing to me emotionally. So it was like a failure for me that I couldn't be to you what you needed at that time. And it was because I was dealing with my own stuff, and I wasn't honest with myself. I didn't even see it. Like I don't know how deep I'm gonna say this, and I'll come back around. There'll be times in my own personal life within my marriage, I could really be going through things. Like I could be hurt by something that could have happened. Maybe me and my husband had a disagreement. I would go in the bathroom and cry, wipe my face, Destiny, and come out, and he would never even know that something was bothering me. And it wasn't until I got face to face with myself and I started going to therapy that I learned to kind of how to deal with those things and how to be honest, because I don't want to be misleading. And I think not only you were affected by that, but even my own siblings, how they would say, Amy, you coming home? Because we don't, by the way, I'm a triplet, but my sisters don't, we don't live in the same city. And so they like, you coming home, or they invite me to something. And I wouldn't say I was coming, but I wouldn't say I wasn't like forthcoming. I'd be like, well, okay, maybe. And then the day come, and I knew when they asked me, I wasn't coming. And so through therapy and things like that, it has taught me just to be honest. And sometimes I may have to wait, you know, till I can articulate, like you mentioned earlier. But that was definitely, I feel like, a shortcoming on my end, an area that I've had to work through and be honest, because I think for me, it was hard for me to be able to say something and, tell somebody no, because I was very much so a people pleaser. So if I tell you no, and your face, you look disappointed, or your response may not be what I want, then I would just avoid it. Like, I don't want to be bothered with that. So I'm not going to even tell you. I ain't going to even say nothing. They can think whatever they want. And I hurt a lot of people, my family. I hurt you. I hurt friends with some of those ways like that. So it wasn't until I got in therapy that I really was able to learn how to do different things, because I was a severe people pleaser, and that was based on some traumas that I've been through in my own past. So I
And
said,
I understand, like, again, when you're going through your own trauma from somebody that's going through multiple substance or whatever, we is selfish. We only see what we feel, what we think, and how we want it to be. So it's like, when I say we, like, people that are like I didn't see anybody's else pain or whatever it was, and if I was causing them pain, I was like, you ain't going through what I'm going through. So what does that matter? And I had to literally grow up throughout that time. And
Oh, can we say heal up?
oh yeah, heal up. Heal up. Because it's like when it came to that lady Rashana Freeman, like there was a divine connection for me to connect with you and Jason, and for me to have that time to spend with Miss Freeman because I got a mom out of it, but
Yes.
also somebody spiritually guided, somebody that just like loved me unconditionally. Because I was a lot,
Girl, it looked like she birthed you herself, to be honest.
A lot of people say that too. That's why I be like,
It looked like she gave birth to you, girl. It's meant to be.
yes, because it's like the woman I am today is because of her, and it's because of you. It's because of everybody along that journey. A lot of things that I did take that I wasn't even aware of or openly to admit of becoming the woman I am today, because it took a lot of self evaluation. It really did, and a lot of people see Miss Women like she's this person where they think I can get over her and that she coddle. She don't coddle, and I don't get over it. I become the woman I am today because she give it to me straight up, and she don't sugarcoat. She don't. You gonna do it, and this how you gonna do it. You gonna go about your day. That's how she do it.
I know, and I know you say you from Winsville, but us people from the other side of the state, we need the people to be direct, because
I
that's what
mean,
we used to.
because I grew up in San Luis when I had got adopted by my biological grandmother. But when you raised in the city for a certain amount of time, that's what you claim.
Hmm.
But I tell people, don't ever get it twisted though. I rep St. Louis when I was younger. But because I went to school all the way for a long time in Winsville School District and I graduated from Winsville School District, I rep Winsville. And that's why
I
a
don't
lot of
know if I should boo right now or not. I hold my boos till another time.
somebody told me, and I was like, I was talking, I had a therapist in St. Louis. And I was talking, I was like, don't ever get it twisted. And she was like, see that right there? We know you from across the bridge. I was like,
Exactly.
and no, I'm saying don't ever get it twisted. Then she said how I said it. She said, now you from the Winsfield side, the way you said that in the main. Don't even say it like that no more. I was like, what do you mean?
Girl.
Tell you over there with the white folks. The white folks over there. I was like, not
Okay.
too much. Not too much. Don't hate because I was part of a school district that was totally different than that school district across the bridge. Just
Uh,
saying. They had some good school districts. I ain't
See,
talking.
that was a little shady, but we're gonna move on. Cause I graduated from one of the schools across that bridge, and
Hey, I'm look. It was shade, but it's some very intelligent people from my college across that bridge.
we'll
But
let it ride for now.
right. But on that was standing on business. You still stood on business of where you was at, how you felt, and how you was gonna proceed. And you proceeded to, do great things. I saw you from a distance. I was like, oh, yeah, she doing good. She doing good. Then it's like she like deboed hugs from me, y'all. She used to come up. How you doing? I just be like, whoa, back up. I don't even know
I
you
know,
like
and I think it was. I feel like you're not a person that always like a bunch of people holding you anyway. But I felt the reason, and I probably shouldn't. Let me think it back. Maybe I should have respected your boundaries a little bit more. But I felt like that was because I felt like you felt rejected by me, and maybe you feel like I really didn't love you, but I do love you, and I just feel short, really, but I really, really do love you. And so I was like, well, I know she want to act like she don't want to talk to me. She don't really want to be bothered. But when she come, she can't get away from me. I'm gonna love her. I'm gonna hug her. I'm gonna be loud and speak to her. So I see you. I see you trying to creep by, but girl, I see you.
that was a
I'm
funny
I'm
part.
glad you received that though, because you could have held that against me.
Oh no, not at all. Because my thing is that I always make this joke. If if you didn't leave for a certain amount of time, or we didn't have distance for a certain amount of time, are you really supposed to be in my life? Because everybody got that story. Even Miss Room, she left for like 72 hours, gonna come back, come on from. All right, I had time with God. I love you. I was like, hold up. You left me. You left me. I need you to chill. And that was back in 2018. And actually, no, that was 2018. I was like, whoa. Actually, no. We met in 2017. Not
Girl,
18.
how you
That was
remember? I don't even
17.
remember what the day was. When?
It was in June or July of 2017. Yep.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that long, that it's been that long.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't even know like this the backstory. They just assume I just came straight there. And I'm like, no, I didn't come straight there just by myself. It was a recommendation and I actually came with you and Jason. And I'm like, wow, time has definitely flown by. But wow. But glory be to God, like we are here and we are in different places. And one thing I can be thankful for with you, you never came with mess and drama. You never like came with being prideful, asking me my personal business, or making assumptions about me, or even trying to psychoanalyze or project upon me. Like you literally just kept it 100, like you was genuine. And Jason too, he's quiet though. So I was like, oh, you know, he's quiet. But you know what I mean? He's just a quiet.
Until yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he get to talking. I know you can get to talking when you want to. When you're quiet, I was always quiet, but I appreciated that because a lot of people along my journey have not been the best of people. You know, and,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when you're looking for something, you find it. You
Yeah.
know, and I'm not saying that in a good way. So I value who you have been in my life, even in the time that we didn't speak. You know, you didn't slander me, you didn't put me down, you didn't treat me any type of way. Um, you just you just 100%. It's not a lot that I can say about other people, you know,
Oh,
that I
thanks,
have met.
Destiny. Are you trying to bring out the waterworks today? Is the question, girl? I'm not about to be crying on this show.
Look, I'm speaking truth
But that's so
because
sweet of you to even mention that. Because honestly, Destiny, um, love is love, and though I didn't know a lot because of things that I have gone through, you can kind of see. Just like I'll never forget years ago, I forgot exactly your words. But I was like, how does he think she gonna know something? But you had told me something. I can't remember what it was. But I went home and pondered, and I was like, how she think she gonna know something? But when you've been through things, there are things that you can see, like things that you've overcome or the things that you've walked out. You can see that. You know.
what was it? What?
I don't know what it was, but I remember going home. It was one day after church. This was years ago. This before the pandemic. And you had told me something. God told me something. And I was like, no, she didn't come in. Think she gonna tell me something. But it was. I went home and think about it, and thought about what you had said because sometimes we can be very dismissive about people, or maybe you don't want it from that messenger,
Mhm.
But that don't mean God can use a donkey. He can use whoever He wants to speak to you. And I've never been the type of person that'll shut down because I'll just, ask the Holy Spirit, like, is that you, God? And you had said something to me, and it was during the time, I mean, it was something when the time when I was healing. You can't receive me because of something. It was something along that line. I was like, no, she didn't try to come and tell me, but it really was the truth. Like, I really couldn't show up like that, at that time because of the things that I was walking in, you know, and the things that I needed healing from. So, yeah. Even with this message, girl, this title, this message, I said, "Oh God,
I mean, you know, look, transition into another question. Like, assume, you know, some of the stuff you shared. Say you standing on business is the topic. You know, finding your faith. You know, and understanding yourself. So, some of those traumas that you've gone through and that you walked through, what did you learn from them, and what can you give the people out there that are watching? Encouragement.
Hmm. Let's talk about the people pleasing because you and I talked about there's only so much I'm going to share out of unless I feel led of the Holy Spirit to share.
Go ahead.
You know. So some of the things, I'll say, Holy Spirit, how should I say that? Really, like, let's just say, growing up, I'll say this. This I'll say because I don't have to name names. Growing up, when you're a triplet, you're always being compared. My sisters are identical and I'm fraternal, and they look alike. And you can tell we're siblings, but we're completely like I look different from them. You can tell there's something there, but you probably wouldn't say we triplets because they literally are identical. And my mom had two eggs, just in case people want to know how did that happen. They're fraternal. They're identical fraternal. So my sister's completely opposite, tall, slender. Their complexion is different from me. So always being, compared. Oh, Amy, off. I can't even tell you, Destiny. Since I was a young girl, being called fat. Even when I wasn't a larger person, you just fat, you just sloppy. Nobody would want you. These are some of the things I heard growing up in my childhood. You know, and so it wasn't, and I know people don't want you to be deep, but I got to be honest. This is how I got there. It wasn't until I started getting to know God for myself. When I started going to Believers Temple in St. Louis, and then once I transitioned and came to Kansas City, I started going to Harvest Church and learned about getting in the Word and knowing what God says about you. And really, that time with me, God moved me away from from my siblings and saying, "No, you going here," and my sisters went somewhere else. It was such an intimate time, though. It was one of the most toughest times in my life. It was one of the most hardest things I've ever had to do. But those were the intimate times between me and God showing me who I am. As a matter of fact, hearing somebody say nobody ever gonna want you because of this, that, and the other, because of my size, or I don't look a certain way, or maybe I feel like I'm not measuring up, which was it was very traumatizing for me. And so I remember when I was in St. Joseph, I was attending a different church in college my first year in St. Joe, and the pastor there, Pastor Brown, she told me, Amy, every day when you get up, you look in the mirror and you tell yourself that you're beautiful. Because the word says, we're beautiful, fearfully and wonderfully made in the eyes of God. She was saying, and then I remember her telling me, God really hears you. And I say, He hears me, because I never thought anybody heard me, because again, I was a soft spoken one. I was timid. Everybody spoke for me. I always felt like nobody was listening to me. So I couldn't believe that God would hear me. Me? Of all people. So what got me to the place, I think that was a question you asked me, was really through prayer and learning who I am. And I'm not saying I've arrived. That's something that I'm constantly having to still walk out of, because everything has an anniversary date. And things will still come knock on your door that you thought you were free of and say, hey, are you really free? So that's something that I still bring before the Lord, about knowing who I am, speaking up, talking, saying those things, and speaking those things that God has told me to. But I found that in Him. It was the Lord that gave me boldness, because if you ask my family and people that knew me before my 20s and stuff like that, they would tell me, like even my stepmother, my dad's ex-wife, would tell me sometimes. She would say, I like the old Amy who was all, nice. Really, I was a pushover. So it wasn't until me getting close with God, and really God pulling me to a place of just solitude, just Him and I, that forced me to have a voice. Because most importantly now, because of my relationship with Him, it's like I'm going to do what God tell me to do, and that gives me peace as someone that was a people pleaser. If I obey God, then it's good. So that's why I check in with Him and say, God, what are you saying about this? Because if I don't do that, the old people pleasing ways, I'll be here and there and everywhere. And a lot of times when you're doing that, you have no rest, because you're so busy trying to please everybody and their mama. And so for me, I feel like personally on my journey, that's what's helped me to be able to find a voice, because now I'm no longer looking to please the people, but I want to please God. So in my pleasing God, I only want to say what He would have me to say. I only do what He would have me to do. And it helps me to be peaceful. I'm not trying to be spooky or religious per se, but that's what's helped me. And of course, therapy, because I do believe in Jesus and therapy. Going through therapy and the therapist giving you tools and things, that's what has helped me. And I don't know if that answered your question or not, but
It did.
hopefully.
I let you flow, because one thing I know is that when people get on here and they say that they say they nervous beforehand, or just in general, when you get to flowing, you in your element, I just go ahead and let you flow. Because I told you, I said it'd be dialogue and monologue. Hey, anything
Girl,
to
listen.
get you ready, like to get you tenderized for these deep questions I'm about to ask.
Oh, oh, you didn't tell me about no deep questions, Destiny.
I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Or am I? Am I? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Look,
But
I'm holding myself, pausing.
but I want to speak on something you said, um, like people bullying you and saying stuff when you were younger. Like one thing I can say in like meeting you, it's a lot of like bigger women that turn out to be mean and bullies and have nasty attitudes, and they're just in general. And it's like you have always had a sweet spirit since I've known you. So it's like you didn't let that turn you into somebody that um people have to put caution, towards you, or you have to wear that like an article of clothing, or you use that as an excuse. And despite it may have like bothered you, made you sad or whatnot, you still handled that with poise. Like you did that, like for real, because when people get close to your age, they just be stuck. They be set. They just be this what this is, this how this made me feel. When people did this and that. And it's like you still keep that innocence of okay, God, I'ma trust you. Rather than okay, God, I'ma trust you, but I'ma handle this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all know that St. Louis side gonna come out. Let's pop off. But you know what I mean? Like you really are a example of standing on business. And people think standing on business is I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna fight the world, be angry at the world, be upset at the world. No, standing on business means you know that you dealt with this, you're going through this has hurt you, whatever it is. But then on top of that, what you're doing is you're using that to help yourself heal, understand yourself, in giving back. So someone that's in the situation that you're in or have overcome that and still not understood, they are able to have life instead of walk around with death in the situation. So that's the definition of standing on business because you know what you're going through, but yet here you are, hey, I went through
And
it.
it's
Next.
nobody but God, Destiny. Nobody but God. Because I just, when I think about it, his love for us is just unmeasurable. And I'm trying to keep him closing my eyes, I keep the tears in. But he's so loving and so kind and so genuine and so merciful and so gracious. It's like, who am I to think I can keep an account of that, Destiny? You know, I forgive people, and those people are still, some of them are still alive, you know, um, because Christ forgave me. And it's really, forgiveness is not for the other people, it's for you. Because
Yep.
I don't want to be bound up. And through therapy and stuff, and of course, God saying that we can come to Him and cast our cares upon Him because He cared for us. I used to just hold it, and just be heard, and I wouldn't talk about it because I used to be made fun of for crying. You just a cry baby. You always crying. So my heart has started becoming hard. And as going through the therapy and the healing and stuff, I'm like, look, Amy then came back because she, I cry when I'm happy, joy, tear for joy, tear joyous tears, or if I'm sad, learning to just be honest with God, that really hurt. Even if I don't tell the person, well, that really hurt me that they said that. And if he tells me that to go talk to him about it, I will. If you say, girl, let it go, then I'll let it go. But that's something that I'm learning is that, we all fall short. And even when it comes to parents and things like that, they gave me the best of them, what they could have gave me. And if they would have had the teaching and been surrounded by the people like I've been surrounded, it could have been a lot different. Of course, there is also a choice, but it's a decision that I've made that I want my heart to be clean. And when my mom was alive, I just think about some of the stuff that she overcame in. I wouldn't want nobody to mistreat my mom because of her shortcomings. I guess let me circle back to that when you talked about I didn't try to look at you or try to analyze you and do all these things. My mother went through a lot of things. I'm not gonna go into a lot of it just in case her sisters may be on here. I don't need to be checked by my aunts and uncles and stuff. But my mom went through a lot of things, and when she was in some of her deepest places, the things and the nasty things that people said about my mom was just horrendous. And so, I think going through because my mother grew up in foster care. Her mother died when she was young and stuff. So my mother didn't have all of the things like that she tried to give us. And I think that's how I approach people.
Mm-hmm.
It's based on what my mom did. I don't want nobody judging my mom because she's fallen short or she went through some things or maybe, whatever. I never wanted that. And I got that from my mom. So I kind of went around in a circle, if that makes sense. But that's why I try to be kind towards all of you because you never know. Destiny, people that have walked by you, even in past times, even when you were homeless and stuff, I'm pretty sure they wish they would have stopped and been kind to you because look at you now. You never know who you are walking by. You never know. The hand of God is on that person. That's why I'm careful about what I say about people because you just don't know. And the Lord does say, touch not my anointing and do my prophet no harm. So I'm very careful about what I say because just because Destiny was in that place in 2017 and we don't know where you were in 2000, you haven't mentioned that, and all those years before. but I'm careful not to judge or put my mouth on people because where they are don't mean that's where they're going to remain. And most importantly, I don't want to get in trouble with the Lord about how I speak or put my mouth on anyone, regardless if they wrong or not. That has nothing to do. My job is to pray for them. So
Because
those are things that I've always tried to be careful about. Even with those people that have hurt me, I go to God about that, and I pray that God would deal with them because He'll do it. That's all I'm gonna say.
because like that, like I've had some people, walk up to me. Um, I'm not gonna say the place, say the blanks, and be like, "Oh, you were so angry when you came here, and you were just like you weren't nice, and you were mean to people, and you were this and that." And I'm just like, when I came here, I was battling with that was my first place, and I didn't even know how to pay bills because my grandmother never taught me.
Yeah,
She didn't teach me to stand on my own. She taught me, I'm gonna take care of you for the rest of your life. You literally mentally disabled. You don't know how to do this and do that. Like you don't comprehend and understand. Like my grandma had me in one of the special ed classes growing up, like dead serious.
I would never imagine that for you.
You look at all of this, like I'm telling you, I did not know the level of abuse that I went through was just crazy, manipulative mentally, and all of that. When I met Rashana Freeman, when I tell you, she helped me understand that I was smart and intelligent, that I can articulate myself, and she still helps me understand and comprehend that to this day. Because when I first met you, I don't think you knew the depth of what was going on.
I
And
didn't. I had no idea.
because, like, I'm telling you, I didn't have food to eat in my place at the time. I was just working and I made enough and at the high V just to pay enough for my bills. And everybody just saying all this stuff. I'm just like, are you serious? I'm like, imagine how many people, and I'm in this environment where it's supposed to be feeling and it's supposed to be guided. And it's like, yet I have people treating me like that. And I'm just like, wow. And then you fathom the words to say that to me rather than getting to know me. And then when you get to know me, you already got preconceived notions of who you think I am. And it's just like instead of genuinely get to know me, it's just like you're just gonna continue to tell me who you think I am. You know what I mean? Like you will never know. Like now, St. Louis thought wise, I don't. I taught how I was taught. From growing up in St. Louis when I was younger, and then having to grow up in St. Louis from like 17 to 18 because I was homeless in St. Louis.
Hmm.
To get away from my grandmother and the abuses and stuff. I don't ever listen to what you say. Like I listen to what you say, but I look how you move. Then your movement is how I'ma determine how who you are. If your handshake ain't matching your smile, you can say anything. Come
Hmm.
on now. St. Louis stuff, thoughts like you in the city, like people tell you all the time, I ain't even trying to look at what you got to say. I'm looking at how you move. Because in your movement it says a lot about who you are. You know what I mean? So it's just like I've been always I wouldn't say I have been misunderstood in some senses, but I have been a person where somebody has tried to mold me into who they feel like I am, and I couldn't even change that concept. And I didn't at first. I wanted to, and I was like, "Why? You want to live in that world? Live in that world." Just like with those people that thought what they thought about you. If people want to live in a world of who they think you are, how they what they feel about you, and thinking of all these different things, let them. Because
Yes.
misery loves company. Company. Don't be a part of their misery. Because they be thinking, "Oh, well, that person, this, and that." Let people think wrong
Oh,
about
I don't care at this point.
you.
Think
And
what you want to think.
I had to learn that because I'm just like I'm out here trying to make a sense about stuff like, and I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it because it's just like, and many people on here they be like, "Oh, Destiny about to talk about it," and I am. I had somebody like a couple months ago, compromise me in something that I was holding on to for a long time, and it altered me in a sense of how I saw them. But instead, they took something that I said and made it something that they felt was more superior than what they said to me. And they made assumptions that my mom did not know about the circumstances, and she did know about those circumstances. And even in that, this individual literally does their best to try to make it known that they are hurt or feel some type of way regarding me. I am the type of person where if you feel some type of way, you can always talk to me about it. But what I don't do is bully you. And to me, passive aggression and not being able to say how you feel about something, but you rather act it out, You know where it is in St. Louis. That's like for real, like threatening behavior. Because what are you
Yeah,
trying
because
to do?
the city's very, we're very assertive people.
Exactly. So it's like, what you trying to do? You know what I mean? But I also feel like in that situation, I'm like, this is a huge misunderstanding. But you better stand on what you feel and what you think. But I can't change what older people feel and what they think. I cannot change how that person saw that situation and that predicament. But all I know is for me, I operate in forgiveness because my thing is that I've been through so much hell that and God has given me so much that I'm not ever going to put myself in a situation to skip all the hurt and pain I've gone through just to hurt somebody that I just met or just circumstances just in general. And I noticed that a lot of people that I meet have gone through their own trauma and
Hmm.
they're not close to where I am to fathom the conversations that I have, or better yet, to even for me to even have the relationship that I have with my biological family. They'd be like, why you even deal with them? I deal with him on a level that God tells me to. I don't
Yes.
operate in hate. I don't operate in the sense of, oh my gosh, I can't stand them. I'm gonna get on here and slander them. Things
Hmm.
happen. We in better circumstances. If it was not for meeting you, Amy, and me meeting Miss Remy, I wouldn't even be the woman I am today to be able to forgive them, to be able to have conversations with them, to be able to bless them and them to bless me and go down to St. Louis and spend time with them
Yes.
and just have that joyous time. But in that's like I have
And
to
I'm
realize
glad you have joyous times, though.
I am because glory be God, like there's nothing that's going to stop me regarding anything that God has for me. Even that recent situation, because that situation it had me and you I think I told you about that situation I did. But yeah, but that really got me in the sense of God, what are you trying to tell me? And it's just like you have to learn to take nothing personal.
Hmm.
It's all about how someone else may see a situation and predicament.
It's
It,
perspective. And what I learned, like when I was going through therapy, um, that you see things normally by the way that you perceive things is based on experiences that you had a lot, unless you deal with them.
yeah,
So if you've had a lot of rejection and hurt and pain, you probably see it that way unless you've dealt with it or been healed from that. So perception is based on your experiences, how you see it, unless of course we have the word and stuff like that too. So, but I do commend you on that. I will continue to encourage you to pray about that, pray for whomever heart that is that you're referring to, because God can change that thing around. You know, He can help
oh,
them to see.
oh, for sure, for sure. It's just for me, anything that predicament, I was just like, you know what? Hey, I be not bitter, but be a person of being better. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it, be better. But I had to understand and comprehend that the devil attacks at many different levels. Not saying that the individual is a devil, but the enemy can jump in. But sometimes what we give the devil credit for is what we do ourselves. So I had to stop and evaluate a lot of times. Like, am I giving the devil too much credit for some stuff that decided to do myself?
Yes, that's
So,
good.
so I've that's been something that I've been learning to evaluate and understand because again, I hold no hate in my heart for anybody. Even my birth mother. I know a lot of times she just be like, "Well, does she hate me?" Or I don't hate you. I just don't know you like that, you know. But also at the same time, it's just like I'm trying to get to know you. So, and
Yeah.
a lot of times, it's like I have to process a lot of things because a lot of things have happened. But
Hmm.
I don't hate anybody. I might dislike what somebody does, but I'm pretty much an open book. I'm more of a peaceful, calm person than I've been in years. I don't have time to be angry and frustrated. That takes away from the time I could be spending to do things productive because I have things I want to do, $1 million, inventions and dreams. So why would I compromise that for anybody? You know what I mean? Because I
Yes.
it be some people that be coming at me and I be like, whoa, hold up, hold up a second. I'll ever get it twisted because I said I was homeless and I was out here by myself. That I'm by myself. Look, come on now. My family, I grew up in Winslow, but a lot of my family is in St. Louis. My birth father's side, my birth mother's side, all of them. Come on now. Don't ever get it twisted. That's all of them. That's a lot of them over there. A lot of them in Winslow, but a lot of them stand on business too. And I'm talking about the negative side of standing on business.
And we don't
A lot
want that.
exactly. A lot of times I gotta take a step back and be like, it ain't even worth it. My future. What you gonna do in your future? What you say you want to do? You can't have that come back on you. Go on here. That's why I just be like, you know what? You go on here and let them people just be. But
Yeah.
man, like, wow. I mean, we having some good conversation here. You know, I got on my talking spell and stuff like that. But I do want to ask, how did you meet Jason?
Ooh, no. So, how I met the love of my life.
What you
Um,
be calling him? What's that nickname you be calling him at church?
Girl, I can't be telling nobody my nickname for my bed.
You be saying in public. I be like, who
I
is
go, you
that?
said my nickname. I ain't know nobody can hear that. But I got a lot of names for him, and I normally don't call him by his first name. He got a lot of names. I'll give you one, Jace. That's one nickname. I ain't gonna give you my little sweet little. I don't really call him Jason. Like, hey, Jace, babe.
That means I be like,
And other things. So this how I met Jason. Let me lean closer. No, but I'm gonna start with myself first, because years ago I was seeing someone on and off for a couple years. It was really ridiculous. I wish that person well, though. I hope they had found someone whom they really like, and it's a God thing. I pray, but I was dealing with this gentleman on and off for a couple years, and when my mom died, it was just something in me. It was just like, you gonna waste your time, or you gonna just really let go? Because really, I was in disobedience. I knew I was supposed to have been walked away from this relationship, friendship, whatever you want to call it. I should have been did that, but I was in disobedience, rebellion, really, because I knew I should have let it go. So anyway, my mom had died, right, and my mom died in '08, and by '09, the Lord was like, "You going back to Kansas City?" Remember I said that already? I'm like, "So I'm going back down here with my daddy." I'm in the city with a family member. But anyway, so I came back to Kansas City in 2009, but my deal with God, here I think I can make a deal with God, but I did. I was like, God, I was in Kansas City all that time without any family. I said, if I go back, you got to send my husband. I cannot be in that city like that by myself. Girl, I get back to Kansas City, came back, 'cause before I came, I was struggling. I was going through it. Told you I was living with that family. I didn't have no vehicle. I was going back and forth. So when I came back the next time, I was like, yeah, I got my car. I'm good. I'm transferring my job from Las Vegas to here. I thought I was good. Come back and lost everything, girl. Lost the car back. He was staying with this family again. It was just like, oh my gosh. So, needless to say, I lost everything when I came back. Living in someone else's house again. And then, so now 2009 come around. I started the job where I used to work at. And then I was working, and I was still on the bus and stuff, girl. So I met Jason in the year 2012, and I wasn't good at picking men, sister. I wasn't good at picking men at all. So I told God, I said, God, I'm gonna know that you sent him, because he's gonna go to my man of God first. Because I clearly can't pick right. No shade to the exes or people that I've been in a relationship with. I'm not saying none of you all are bad people, but it wasn't a good fit for me. You and I weren't a good fit. So needless to say, I was like, I'm gonna know that God sent him, because he's gonna go to my man of God first, and that's gonna be including me, and he ain't playing no games. And my man of God being the Bishop Steve Howard, my pastor, who is my spiritual father. So anyway, 2012 come around, and I'm in the hallway. I'm like, this was like after service. I used to play in the band at the church, at our church. So I'm in the hallway, and three different people talk to me. All like one person said, all I got to say is, get ready, get ready. I said, I didn't know what that was. And then somebody else came to me and said something. I can't remember who that was. But then Jason's mom afterwards was like, I just can't say things. This was after First Fruit Sunday in 2012. This was that day, First Fruit Sunday, 2012. And so his mom came and said some things to me, and I still didn't catch it because I had seen her at the church, but I didn't know him, and I didn't know her like that. I'm friendly, so I'll speak to you, even though I'm a person that's really to myself, but I'll speak to anybody or talk with converse with someone. So anyway, that day on First Fruit Sunday, Jason, unbeknownst to myself, he had went to Pastor and told him, hey, Pastor, I'm interested in talking to one of the ladies at the church. And Pastor said, well, who is she? And he told her me. And he said, son, you got good eyes, and kind of tapped Jason or whatever. And so then Jason, before he even approached me, he went to my sister, because my sister was living in the city for, I think, about a year at that time, because she was here for about 2 years before she moved to Maryland. And so He went to my sister and DM'd her and was like, I heard that she was her only sister here, and I wanted people to know about my intentions that I'm going to reach out and get to know your sister. And that's how we met. My sister gave him my number, and he called me, and so we started dating in October of 2012. His dad was still alive at that time. Jason's mom and dad had been married since they was 18, before Jason even came in. And so, long story short, we went to his parents before the end of the year. We had went to his parents
Wait,
by.
wait. Side note, why Kingston in here to my good eyes?
What you doing here?
I
That's
gotta
his
get him on the
dad,
podcast. That look, that's a older young man right there.
right? Kingston, look, I love Kingston, but so he had So he went to pastor. Oh, and before he went to pastor, he told his mom that he was going to pursue that. He was thinking about that. He believed God had told me him, to come and reach out to me. And his mom said, "Well, you better hurry up before anybody else get her." So that made him go to pastor. Then he went to pastor. After he went to pastor, not only did he go to my sister, but he asked different women within the choir, because I was in the band, about me. He did all this in a short span of time. Then we started talking. By November, December, we had went to his parents, letting them know that we were going to be pursuing marriage, and we didn't want to move forward unless they agree. And then I told him, though my father wasn't there, you're gonna have to talk to my daddy, because that's my father. So he went. His parents agreed. This was like a few months, 2, 3 months in,
Yeah.
and we got married within 9 months.
Wow.
But I met him at the church, and he didn't even know I was there. Girl, I was the only girl in the band. He didn't even see me. I'm up there playing the instruments for years. He didn't even know I was there. They thought I was a new member. I said, "What? I've been here since 2012." But that's what happened. That's how I met Jason, at the church. He had been there since he was a teenager.
Wow.
Kingston's age. Kingston been there longer, because Kingston been there since he was little. So, but that's how I met Jason, at the church. When
Wow.
Jason was standing on business, we got married within 9 months.
Wow. 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 Wow.
That fast, that easy, just like that.
Wow. What is a advice you would give women right now that are waiting for their husband? They're standing on business for their husband.
Ooh, I one that's pretty simple. I would say, don't give up. Because God is not a respecter of person. He don't love me or no other woman more than you do. But I would say, trust God, and most importantly, I'm gonna say for myself. When I was waiting for Jason to find me, I knew I was gonna be a wife. Don't give up. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say some of the things that my first lady has said. Um, don't give up. It's a good time to work on you. There are things, like, for me, I'm gonna say for myself, because my family is different from Jason's family. We're very assertive, because I come from St. Louis and the city culture is assertive. So I had to learn how to communicate and talk a whole different way. I asked the Lord to show me those things that I needed to work on. Lord, what is it in me that could be preventing him from coming? Is my mouth, do I talk too much? When I mean talk too much, am I easily angered? Do I want to go off at the drop of a hat? Am I a good listener? So I started asking the Lord to show me those things that I need to work on. This is the way I said, Lord, make me ready for my husband. Show me the areas that I need to work on. So when he does come, I'll be ready for him, and I won't run him off. And then something that our first lady said was, pack a bag and set it by the door, because you're not gonna be here. She said that when I was in my 20s, and I packed me a little travel bag, and I had that thing at the door, and it was a small little bag, but I said, I'm getting up out of here. And then she said, write the plans, set the date, make the plan. So you should be knowing what color you want your wedding, if you want a destination wedding, what colors it's gonna be, how many people it's gonna be, all of that. I even do that now, as you know, Destiny, because I'm believing God for our children. I already have a list. I have a list of people who gonna be on coming to the baby shower. I have a list of how I want it to be, the kind of environment I'm looking for. So the word says to write the vision and make it plain. How you
Habakkuk.
gonna, huh?
That's Habakkuk. What is that? Habakkuk.
It is, girl, Habakkuk somewhere. Let me look. Do I got Habakkuk? It's Habakkuk 2:2.
Two and two. Y'all. I'm
And
about
the
to say
Lord
two.
answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tablets, that they may run that read it. You have to write that thing out and be in expectation and watch your confession. One day you can't be saying, oh, I'm getting married. The next day, I don't know when he coming. When people was like, your husband is on his way, I would be like, no, my husband is here.
Amen.
I started growing up my hair. People say, you growing up your hair? I said, yeah, girl, I'm growing up my hair because I'm getting married. I know what kind of style I wanted to have a little sew in or whatever. I said, I got to, because I was wearing my hair real short then. And I was like, I got to grow my hair out. I'm growing my hair because I'm getting married. And it sounded so silly. Like this girl who don't have a college degree, riding on the bus, relying on people for transportation. But look, it's going to be according to your faith, be it unto you.
Wow. That's
I had a
that's
whole list, girl. I had a whole list. I had the characteristics I wanted him. Jason has met every expectation. No shade. That he gave God gave me that and more.
I love that for you. So that makes me think like a lot of people like, is Destiny, ready for her husband? Look, I'm open to it, but it's some things I feel like I need to work on for myself.
And I'm not saying not perfection. You ain't gotta
Yeah,
be perfect, Destiny. You ain't gotta be
well, I'm
perfect.
saying not perfect, but I know it's a lot of things because of the trauma I've gone through that I need to check. I want to be, like I said in my podcast a couple weeks ago, I want to be so aware of myself that I run to God and my therapist. How we gonna fix this? How we gonna work this out? You know what I mean? Because I want to be better in this. Because there's certain trigger points or certain things that I may do and say that may not be okay. But I will say, in my healing, I have become very I wouldn't say picky, but particular in the guy I entertain. So I can't
Yes.
entertain every guy, or have conversation with every guy, or better yet, like if I'm interested, I'm interested, and I'm interested. But I know for a fact I do want to be married. I want to have kids, and there's a lot of things I do think about. But it's just like right now, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't really go nowhere or do nothing,
I
But who
wasn't
knows?
going nowhere and doing a whole bunch of stuff either, girl.
I
I
mean,
was on the bus line. That ain't
it
fun.
was actually prophesied to me. First off, before I say this, who was Tyrone? They said Tyrone was standing on business. Kingston said
Girl, that's Jason's middle name.
that. Okay, Kingston. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, it was prophesied to me that I would my husband was like going to be like somebody in the church or like leadership or something like that.
Did you write it down?
I thought they was just talking. That was like years ago, and then they told me that I was gonna have like this kid. I was like, yeah, you're gonna have your first child gonna be, this sex, and you gonna have a child that look like you. And I was like,
You
okay,
should write it down.
I guess. I look. I'm gonna write it down because it was a suggestion that you suggested, and I write it down, make it
Yeah, girl, because though it Terry, wait on it.
plain. So, but whoever he is, you know, just know you got a real one here that has
Girl,
definitely.
he already gonna know. You ain't even got he already gonna know. Because he gonna hear from God. That's most importantly. That's the only thing. Like even when Jason did approach me, I checked in. God, is this you? Because it was just so odd. How it came, how he went to pastor. It was exactly in my heart. Only me and God knew that, and He did that. You know, but Ishmael always come before Isaac, so you better know what's up. So just being in prayer and
Say that again. Say that again.
girl, that didn't even mind. That came from Pastor Howe
I'm
many
saying you
years
said
ago when
Ishmael
I was a
always come before
youngin'.
Isaac.
Ishmael come before Isaac. That's what Pastor said. That's why I knew I couldn't choose right. I mean, because I had a lot of counterfeits. No shade to the past, but I had a lot of people that seemed like him,
Hmm.
and they weren't it. I do wish those people well still though, but they weren't it for me, and that's okay. You know.
So transitioning into a deeper question.
Uh
What
oh.
what makes Amy Amy?
What makes me me?
Yes.
I don't know if it's gonna be deep, girl. What makes me me?
Let me put it this way. What makes Amy be the person that she is today? Which I believe that who someone is, um, they God has always made them to be that, and I'm talking about in a good perspective, like who we metamorphose into going. Like we don't change, we change diapers and stuff like that, but we evolve. Like that's in that sense.
What makes me me? Honestly, Destiny, I know a lot of people don't like to go through things and people don't like to experience hardships or problems or go through trials and tribulations or heartache and pain. But I honestly can say, like, because my sisters, they always tell me, girl, you the faith girl. They just always say I'm strong in faith and stuff like that. But I wouldn't have been strong in faith if I didn't have to believe God for like times. Because I remember when I was living this particular family, right?
Mhm.
I love them so much. They are my family today. Like how you went through some of the things you went through, and now you gave a bonus mom. This family, I'm just gonna say it. I don't think they're gonna mind. Miss Few, and my good friend Lauren Ragland. Her mom opened up her, and her dad was alive at this time too. Opened up her home to me, and let me live with her more than one time. And I was an adult. I was in my 20s. And if I had gone through those things, or not having a space of my own and having to believe God for different things, or not having a car, or not knowing how I was going to pay my cell phone bill, or when my gas got cut off and I had to believe God, for that, or even for bus money, like, God, how am I going to get point for tuning? Okay, God, I'm going to go out here. I don't got no money for this bus, but I'm believe while I'm walking, I'm going to pick up some change on the ground to be to pay for my bus. Or I made a mistake and maybe didn't take care of my finances properly, but God's grace, Lord, I got to call this phone company. This is my only way of being able to communicate to a family that's in another state or whatever. I need you to show me favor with the phone company if they won't turn my phone off. So it's different things like that, places that I have been in where, like, when I went to college as a teenager, when I was 19, I graduated. I turned 19 a couple of days before my freshman year of college, and I went there, girl, to have nothing. I didn't have no scholarship. I didn't even know people let me into me and my sisters in. I don't even think I had did the FAFSA. Like, they let us in. The school won't pay for nothing, but they let me up in there. So it was those things. When I graduated from high school, I didn't know how I was going to get my cap and gown and pay for all those things. And then our church family blessed us. Like, all those different things, it was God proving himself and showing me who he was, even at that age. It was in the hard times and the difficult times, though. I ain't going to say, don't say, oh, Lord, I ain't saying sign me up. I know I'm saying this right now, but it's 2025. I don't need to be signed up for hardship. But it was in those times that put me in a place of faith, because I tried him. In times where, I remember I would be sowing and believing God for a husband and stuff, and I may have like a little $5 that I may give or sow to our woman of God. I'm believing God for this. I'm gonna sow this seed because I'm believing you to do this for me. And it wasn't a whole lot, but God came through every time. So I would say what makes me myself is not only the good things, because we all can talk about good, but it was those challenging times when my back was up against the wall, when I lost my mama. And I just knew my mama would still be here. I would have never thought I would have buried my mom in my 20s. Never in a million years. I can make it even deeper, sis. When my sister was burned up in the fire back in December, and to have her alive today, and God allowed it, and the prayers of the righteous, he said, always avail much. And me laying my hands on my sister and seeing my sister walking and doing all the things she's doing, those are the things that made me. Those are things that strengthened my faith. Though I hated to have gone through all those different things, that's what made me the person that I am today. It's not only the good things, because the good things too, but we don't want to talk about the tough times, or the times when I was like, God, where are you? I thought you loved me. Why would you let this happen? Why you allow me to go through this? When I came here and God told me, I knew God told me to come back to Kansas City, and then I lost everything I had. The car with my clothes in it, my books, all the things got taken from me. And I'm like, but I thought that's what you told me to do. Why I come here and then I had to go through this,
Yeah.
you know? But he's never failed. And so that's what I would say would make me. I mean, I could say my mother and my father, my siblings, all the people that God has placed along my path to get me here. My godfather in St. Louis, Bishop Calvin Scott, my pastor and first lady, Dr. Donna Leah Haupt, and Bishop Haupt here. It's just such a number of things, Destiny. Everybody, it's so many people that have had a part to play for me to be here. But I can honestly say, really, it's the goodness of God who's carried me. Truthfully, I'll be lying if I say anything else. It's all God, and hopefully I ain't saying too much, but it's always been God.
I do got to point out one thing though. If that country St. Louis accent ain't come out,
Oh, The
It's
shade
okay.
is back in
It's
here.
okay. Just hit me.
Not the shade.
I was like, y'all, what? I was like, yeah, I
Girl,
heard
because
it.
I'm
I
from
heard
St.
some of that
Louis and I'm
country.
proud.
There, y'all, like she was dropping them vowels and stuff, y'all. She's emphasizing a little bit sometimes too.
Girl, I can't help it. That's where I'm from.
But I be doing this sometimes too. It's really be like, oh, that go that country. That's
Yeah,
St.
that's because
Louis.
I'm a little bit relaxed a little bit, so they just come on out.
I mean, like even like to bounce off what you were saying, I and I say this because I'm being serious, if you would have never went in that drive through in Popeyes and they would have never messed up your order, you would have never came in. That was divine. That was divine.
It
It was
was, but every time you
God.
say it,
That's what I'm saying. It was God because messing up your chicken order and then you coming in, we having that conversation because again, it all started with you and Jason saying, "Hey, I don't know who said they wanted the Popeyes chicken, but y'all rode in that drive through and it was all nothing but God. Well, God was
I
putting
wanted
that
some
on your
chicken.
heart. You was thinking you had a bad day. Little did
Oh
you
no,
know.
I did before that. I did before.
But I'm okay. You have a bad day, but I'm saying, but little did you know, in that God was about to put something in y'all life that was going to be something where you would see before your eyes a transition of like faith in God and healing. Because again, it all started with y'all, and a lot of people don't know that. They think Miss Green was the one I connected with to get to the church. It was you all. It was you and Jason, and I am the woman I am today because of you all just being able to stand on that and go through that drive through, come into that place and just connect with me like that. And then wanted to connect with me after that.
Yeah,
It's
girl,
not,
because I love you, girl. Because I love you, girl. Just so you know.
I love you too. I had nothing but love for you. I ain't never had a big sister. That's why I hit different when you was like being like that. But one thing I can't say about myself, she right, y'all, because when I say something, it hit different. It hit different back then too. And I have
Girl,
to
it
realize,
was look, I was feeling like a wounded, like, dang, why she say that like that? Why she say that? But I know it was just out of hurt. And I think I know that it was kind of feeling like rejection, like, dang, what's wrong? Why she don't? But it was my own situations walking through.
yeah, I honestly, like I know for a fact, like I still do it sometimes, and it's really like, whoa, watch what you say. Like that's what you just said. You can say that a little different because she called it being direct, and I'm like, okay, I didn't know that because again, like I didn't know my voice for so long, so it's like when I'm saying stuff, I have to realize that there's a tone to it. That's why I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, where I come from, you just say it. Like you said down that area, we just say
It's the
it.
culture. And I too, even though I believe I'm a loving, just sweet teddy bear, but I have rubbed people the wrong way. I'll say here in Kansas City, back home is not like that. You just but here I've learned that particularly being married to Jason, I had to
Mm.
learn how to talk because we're very assertive. And my husband, I could say this, he would say, it seemed like you trying to be a little condescending. I'm like, me? Not sweet, ain't
I,
me?
I hear
Me.
that all the time on myself.
He's like, you sound very condescending. I was like, me? Because my family is very direct. So when people say you need to go be around other people's family before you marry them, you need to be around a family because you can see the dynamics. And it wasn't until like he got around all my family and different people that are my friends back home in St. Louis that he sees that that's just the culture of the city. That's just it's just like being down south. It's a different kind of culture. Though we in the same state, the people back home are so assertive, like right between your eyes. You don't really warm it up a little bit, bake you with a little honey and sweet. You just bam. I've
And that
had to learn to do that too. You know,
that's why I'm like, okay, I'll be like, I'm a little bit too sensitive. And I'm like, but for me, a lot of people up here in Kansas City, I don't like people from St. Louis. And I'm thinking to myself, like, Kansas City ain't nothing on no St. Louis. Them people are y'all hood. And
girl, we here now. I ain't about to talk about the Kansas
that's
Cities,
what
girl.
I'm saying.
We
I
not
ain't
about
trying to
to
talk
do
about.
this.
You're right. You're right. I don't want no beef with nobody in Kansas City. All I'm saying is just like, if you can survive in St. Louis, you can survive in Kansas City. That's how I personally feel. If you could survive in St. Louis, like I was in St. Louis, Evan, over there, but in
You
even
was in the city, girl. I wasn't in no city, girl. I was in the burbs.
I was I was on with them real rough riders out there on
Ooh,
Covenant.
girl,
That's a
girl.
shelter here on Covenant House. It's still out there, I believe. But Yeah, like you can survive any and every year. That's how I personally feel. Like that's just full on. But before we close this podcast, is there any questions that you have for me? Because I have one more for you.
I am gonna ask you this. What by the first let me just say thank you for having me on. I love what you're doing, sister. How God is using you this new season. I want to know how what made you want to start the podcast. Of course, I know about some of your story. I want to know what made you just launch into that, and how did you come up with the name?
Cool. Okay, so I came up with it. God gave me this vision years ago. He was just like, your voice needs to be out there. And I'm like, is it public speaking or so and so on? I'm not sure. But it was really heavy on my heart last year. And I was like, okay, I told my friend, I said, I think I want to start a podcast. And she was like, do it. So I started doing the logo. I actually made the logo all by myself, pieced it together. And the name came from I would play on person, like play on words person. So like I had a business Purple's Enterprises, but it's spelled Perple, which is persevering purple. And the logo's actually the words are red and they look like vines. But I'm playing words person, so I was like prosperity. Um, I was just throwing some words together and I was like, okay, persevere and prosperity put together. That's what it is. And everything else just kind of flowed together because even with my logo, um, I love listening to music. Sometimes I like to listen to other podcasts and motivational stories. So that's what the headphones represent. The glasses represent me. Because when you first met me, I didn't wear glasses. But
Mm-hmm.
throughout the time, my eyes starting that I had surgery in like 2020, and I had to have glasses. And then I'm a knowledge person, so we got the books. So then you got the lip gloss, the lipstick, and then you got the word trauma in there. If you're paying attention, it's a plant. It's just an illusion, whatever you see in the logo. But I was just God put it on my heart to elaborate a lot more on my healing journey, but to realize that there's no safe space for people going through trauma. There's no space for people in society. Period. There's no space for in the government wise, for as laws or even in workplace environments. And God was like, okay, you're gonna change that. So he's like, first you're gonna start with this podcast. So I started the podcast, a safe space for people healing from trauma, whatever you're going through. Whether that's you want to get on here and have full monologue and no dialogue, that's fine. Um, and then God told me, he was like, okay, well, you want to be a part of something even bigger. You start building, networking, and connecting with people so you can be able to be in a position where you can create those laws and spaces or whatever, so people can feel, much. They can feel healthy and supported and have their own space. Because eventually, I do want to get my law degree. I'm doing my 1 year cyber psychology degree. I graduate next year, and after that, it's either law school or PhD. Um, it's up from there. The more I educate myself, the more credentials I have, the more I'm able to, for people to be able to take me serious and understand that I mean business on these things. But yeah, there's no safe space. People say therapy is a safe space, and it's not. We have therapists and psychologists and people that are in positions and they're hurt themselves, and they're literally giving other people advice and therapeutic, approaches to certain type of things that they need for themselves. So it's like it's time.
Well, most therapists have therapists.
Most do, but most people have therapists, and they are not 100% honest with their therapists about a lot of the things that they're dealing with, because there's so many people out here that just hurt. They say what they want to say with their therapist. A lot of people don't understand. My definition of going to therapy is that is a person that holds me responsible for the goals that I want to accomplish for myself, mentally, emotionally, physically, so on, so on. It's not meant for you to go and just be sitting there just saying all these different things for somebody to validate how you feel or to even tell you what you want to hear. They supposed to be there to help y'all and hold y'all responsible for it, y'all. Because you can't, if you have 8 man people in your life, anytime somebody tell you something, you gonna be thinking that they're trying to comfort you, and that's not it. Nobody's trying to comfort you, and even if they are, you gotta learn how to communicate properly. Be like, okay, and go about your day, because that's how you know somebody is properly utilizing therapy, by how they healthily approach circumstances rather than emotionally handle those situations.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I've been learning. Like, don't emotionally approach situations. Handle that in a articulate way where it's not emotional. So yeah, it was time for a space for people, and in this sense I'm gonna continue to stand on business with that because I've been a person that I ain't feel safe in a lot of environments. When I say safe is with safety starts with yourself. It does, not with other people, but it just felt like everybody wants to group they actually want to individualize other people in their traumas. And what I want to do is group it as one. It's all trauma. It's all
Mm-hmm.
traumatic circumstances. It's all about how you approach that in a sense to understand that different circumstances that we're going through, same emotions, same sometimes interactions, same reactions. And if we realize that it's a grouping, we'll find some understanding in how we can better off heal one another or individually. So, yeah.
Hmm. Have you thought about ever going into therapy yourself?
No,
Being a therapist?
no, um, never. I don't want to listen to people's problem issues. I want to be the person behind the scenes. I'm doing the case studies. That's why I'm gonna get my PhD
Mm.
in behavioral psychology, emphasis in neuropsychology, to study the human mind. Most of the time, like therapists, they sit and they listen to diagnose. That's
Mm.
what a lot of times, like people don't know the difference between a clinical counselor and an actual psychologist. Um, Two different lanes because you got the ACA and the APA. I'm a part of the APA, American Psychology Association. Means eventually I'm going to get a PhD because my degree and my master's is a Master of Science in Cyber Psychology, which is
Wow.
cybersecurity from a psychological perspective. So a lot of things I want to do is just work on a lot of virtual reality based things to
Mm.
help people who are going through trauma from again, a virtual reality standpoint.
So, how do you feel being a Joseph in your family?
Whew, I feel it feels heavy a lot of times. It does. But in other times, I don't even be realizing it because I just be going until somebody be like, dang, like, wow, you doing some, look at that, what you doing? I be like, that ain't nothing. We're on my way. I'm still going. So, but it feels burdened sometimes, but I'm grateful that God is using me because I brought a lot of healing to my family. Even my grandmother. We have an amazing relationship.
And you know what else though? Because when you're the first, it's not easy at all. But if you think about it, thank God the next generations, it won't be so hard for them because now they have an example to follow. Somebody's already went before them, so that's commendable to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I just hope to that in this podcast that I influence somebody to be real with themselves. That any guests that are on the podcast, that they inspire you. That if you want to be on the podcast, you know, inquire. I would love to have you on the podcast. Pray about it. Make sure that you ain't come on here doing any and everything. But and if you like the podcast, like and subscribe, y'all, because the likes and subscribes and the shares, they help me and they help these videos to get out there and get trending so other people can, get blessed by this content that's going on.
And
So,
continue to lift her up in prayer while she's doing this, because while she's doing this, it probably can be, I don't want to speak this over you, but hearing certain things can be a little triggering too, especially if you walk that out. So keep her lifted up in prayer as well.
yeah, it actually is not as much as like prayer, yes, but it's not as much as triggering because I done realized that I stay prayed up, but also like I don't see things from the standpoint of this person just pouring, just burned it in me or whatever it is. I actually get excited because when God calls you to do something, I feel like it's plain and simple and clear. If I come on here and I'm heavy, which glory be to God, I have not come on to the podcast and I'm heavy and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I'm so angry and upset. That's different. Then I'm taking in everything that person's saying. I'm angry. I'm not articulating myself correctly. And I always try to be mindful before I hop on the podcast to take some time for myself, pray and
Yes.
talk to God, talk to my mom, because this is real life. When you're dealing with people and their emotions and a lot of the things that they may be going through, it ain't about you, especially when you hop on here. So, yeah. But I'm telling y'all will not see me in a on Psychology Today and booking me. You will not. I will be behind the scenes doing research and different things on a higher level. So no, because, and I do want to say this too. The reason as to why I don't want to do that is because I notice that a lot of people that have gone through trauma are in positions, professions that they feel like they could be saviors to people. And
Mm.
I don't want to be in denial. I've had therapists where I be sitting in therapy, like I sit in therapy and they projecting their own hurt and pain onto me. I've had
Mm.
therapists come in and their whole attitude wasn't correct. Even when I
Oh.
was younger and I went to therapist and I had childhood, like I was a child and I had a therapist or counselor or whatever. And just seeing those things, I'm glad that, and I always told my friend this, God, like I want to do what God tells me to do. I
Yes.
do not ever want to be attached to a profession where every single thing is traumatic. It's trauma based
Mm.
and it's because of my trauma.
Woo.
This is trauma.
Don't sign
I
me
don't
up
want
for it.
that's
Mm-mm.
what I said. I
It's
don't
not
want
for
it
me.
because yeah, that's what I said. I don't want that because there's
Not
police
for me.
officers that have gone through trauma, and that's why you got a lot of them are going to jail for shooting and killing people because they're trying to prove something to themselves and to other people. Don't ever let your hurt, your pain, your trauma drive you to a profession where you think you can be a savior. Heal yourself, get better understanding of yourselves, and then make sure whatever you're going to school for, a profession that you're stepping into, career, is you're able to do it correctly and not insert your trauma into it because that is not healthy. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to play with people's trauma because God, like she said, God don't play about y'all. He don't play about me. He don't play about y'all. He's not about to play about the mental health you and with other people. Like don't play about that. And even if you want to feel right now and that's your heart, whatever it is, get right with God, but get right with your therapist or get into therapists because get into therapy. You don't need to be playing out here with people's mental health because you are a representation of your profession in whatever area that you are, whether you're at the mall, whether you're at school, whether you're at where at a restaurant, you at church or whatever it may be. You are full representation when it comes to mental health, and nobody's playing with you. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing we know about that I had to realize, the APA and the ACA do not play about people when you are registered with them in your credentials because one report is done. So just be mindful when it comes to people's mental health and don't tie it to your trauma. Sorry, I had to go on that.
That was good.
I had to go there. But I do have one more question. I'm going to transition to this last question.
Uh-oh.
What final thoughts or messages would you like to leave our listeners with regarding finding their voice and standing strong in their beliefs?
Oh, ask me again.
What final thoughts or messages would you like to leave our listeners with regarding finding their voice and standing strong in their beliefs?
Ooh, I don't know, Destiny. I think I would say that it's not overnight. I was a people pleaser for pretty much all of my life. I like to call myself a recovering people pleaser. So the only the only way that I was able, because I'm a believer, I'm sure everybody that watch your show isn't necessarily a believer, but I just think it's just once you know who you are in Christ and who He is to you and what you are to Him, I think it makes it so much easier to be able to speak boldly because the boldness that I have didn't come from myself. It came from the Lord that sent me. So I think it just starts. I can't go no deeper than that because I don't. I just think it's really just finding out who you are in Christ, and in that, when you let Him take the reins and let Him lead you, I mean, I'm gonna say what God tell me to say, whether I look like a fool or not, and that's what I've learned to do. So for me, it's just all dealing with me obeying God, and as I obey God, He give me boldness. If I feel that unction in my spirit, I need to say it or I need to share this. That's what I do. So that's it for me. That's what I do. And keep being encouraged because it's not overnight. I'm not a becoming an overcomer and people pleasing didn't happen overnight. Sometimes that thing, depending on what I'm going through, if I'm going through something in life, like things are challenging, sometimes it's easier to go back to that. So I have to make sure that I stay before God with that because it's easy to transition back to Well, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'll just let them. But being led of the Holy Spirit has helped me a great deal. Like I see your mom said, that's that STL in y'all. That STL can come out, but I don't want that to come out. I want God to be glorified. So, with that being said, I've learned. I've learned how to be quiet when I need to be quiet. Don't say it right now. Even in marriage, right now, even if it's the right, we could be having some things going on, and the Holy Spirit said, don't you say that. So that's all. I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense, Destiny.
It
But
does. It does.
learning to be completely surrendered to God and the Holy Spirit is what has helped me. And I encourage everybody, if you don't know Him like that, to get to know Him. And it's never going to be overnight. It's a process. Hopefully that makes sense.
And that's a word,
Hopefully.
everybody. It does. That's a word, everybody. Yes. Yes. And in closing, Amy, did you have anything additional you want to say?
No, what I want to say is thank you so much. I told Destiny before. Thank you for having me on, Destiny. I don't take it lightly. I did try to pray this away because I with Destiny asked me, like I told you, I like to do what God tell me to do. I ain't trying to be deep and spooky and stuff. But this is the truth. I'm not trying to be overly spiritual. But I was like, Lord, if this is not meant for me, don't do it. Close every door, God, if it's not me. And then I'm open my eye. The door ain't closed. Oh, well, God, if it's I'm like hoping, God, please, because this really not really my thing. I'm a person that kind of likes to be behind the scene, but I feel like on like exposed in a way. But I just want to thank you, and I want to encourage you, sis, just to continue going on. I want you to know that I'm so proud of you. And I don't want to make it sound like, oh, but from where you were to where you are now, such a blessing. And I'm just so thankful for your mom sticking it out and continue to encourage you. Thank you for your grace that you show me when I didn't do, that stuff we talked about privately. Um, it's just a blessing to see where you are. And I could just say I'm just so proud of you, Destiny, and I want to encourage you to keep going because I know it hasn't been easy, especially when you're the first one to step out. I don't know what your family's beliefs are when it comes to the things of God or anything like that, but to see you standing here, clothed in your right mind and stuff, that's nobody but God. You are a walking testimony of God's goodness and His grace and His love for us because He always takes the foolish things of men to confound the wise. And many may think, oh, Destiny, yes, Destiny. Oh, her, yes, her. Yes. Because that's what God does it. He does the exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ever think or imagine. So I pray that your podcast continues to increase, that God will continue to use you mightily, that this thing will be thrust all over the world, and that people will be healed and delivered and set free. That your podcast across the line is somebody that just need an encouragement, and that they'll find you because that's what's happened to me. Sometimes I'll be like, God, I need something today, and I'll type in something in YouTube and bam. And so as He's done that for me, may He do that for me all over. And I encourage you just to keep going. And thank you for allowing me to join. I count it an honor, even though I was hoping God would have closed the door, but He didn't do that. But I count it an honor to have been on, and I'm so appreciative for you to allow me to grace your platform. I don't take it lightly. And that's all I want to say. Thank you.
I'm thankful for all that. I'm gonna announce this thing. I'm having a panel. I'm gonna bring out back a lot of the guests soon in the next couple weeks. So you get a chance, everybody, to see Amy again on here because we're gonna do a full panel discussion with the past guests. So stay tuned. Stay tuned,
Give me them
everybody.
dates, girl, because your girl going back home to the STL towards the end of the month.
For how long?
Just for the weekend. We'll talk offline. I'll let you know.
You sure? Right? Cause look, I'm, I'm trying to get some rice and stuff. They don't know nothing about that China.
Girl, I had to learn not to say that.
Yeah. But okay, everybody. Thank you for joining us today on Persperity Podcast, Amy. We hope you find inspiration in our conversation, everybody. And we pray that you have found your voice and you are standing on business. If you enjoyed this podcast, please take a moment to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on social media at Persperity Podcast. And don't forget to go search Diane Delights. That's DianeDelights. Delights. Was it at Diane Delights on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and so on and so on, right?
Girl, I barely be on there, but praise God.
Okay, but yeah, y'all go follow her because she be
I'm
having
gonna be
some.
back on there though.
She got vegan recipes, she got cake, she got cookies, she got food. Check it out, y'all. You know we all like to be, in our stages of liking to eat. Come on now.
Yeah, we gonna unbig our backs too, but
Big my back. You know what I'm saying? Because look, I'm ready to eat. She's talking about I'm about to eat when I get off the podcast. Because your support helps us continue to bring Bible content to you. Until next time, keep striving for your goals. And remember that your voice matters. And I want you all to stay tuned because I have something of a surprise to share with everybody. So stay tuned. And thank you so much, Amy. You can stay on for this announcement, or you can, leave if you like. But I'm about to bring on a special guest, and I'm gonna play some special music for something exciting.
I'm gonna
Oh,
exit.
okay. All right. Well, I love you, and I will
I
see
love you, Destiny. So proud of you.
you. Bye. All right, everybody. I have a surprise for you. I'm bringing back somebody from a couple weeks ago because we have a surprise. All right. All right. Who we got here? We got Miss Carlene Carter back up on here. Why we got her on here, y'all? Why we got her up on here?
Well, I think they're going to be surprised at why you have me on here. Well, because we're announcing my new podcast called Serenity Podcast. It's starting March 30th,
Yes.
guys. We want you to tune in because just like listening to Amy, on the show just a few minutes ago, when you have brutally honest people, because that's what we are, we get straight through it. A lot of people say we go through to the jugular, but we just get straight to the truth. So we're going to keep it real, 1,000% real. We're going to dive into some topics about truth, relationships, being married. It's a lot of things that's going to be coming through this podcast where we're keeping it real, and my guests are going to keep it real. Because you need people that are going to tell you the truth. You don't need a lot of yes people in your corner because you'll never get nowhere like that. You need people that'll tell you the truth. Truth's going to make you mad, but you know what? Once you let all of that emotion go, think about what was said and truthful to you, you'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Yep. So even with this, y'all, this is in partnership with Persperity Podcast. So I need you all to go subscribe to her YouTube. Just type in CERENIT. CERENITY. Sorry, y'all. Serenity. You want to share with them why is it spelled with a C instead of an S?
Yes, because let me tell you, like Destiny said, I mean, not Destiny, not you, Amy, I'm sorry. Like Amy said on the podcast, different things will come to you. I had no idea this was coming. And then I attend Harvest Church, main campus in Kansas City too. My first lady came to me and she said, you know what? She said, don't talk yourself out of it. It's God. She said, something is coming to you this week. It's God. Accept it. I had no clue what she's talking about. Because since I was a little girl growing up, I always thought that my grandparents, when they talked about God, anybody talking about God, they talked in parables like Jesus. Nobody understood what they were saying. Nobody. And so when I got approached with it, when you came to me, I was like, oh, no. Yeah. And then I remember what she said. Because remember, I stopped and I said, I tell you what, let me pray about this first. And then I'll get back to you. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have to pray about this. Then you asked me again. And I was like, Jesus. I said, okay, hold on. So the second time you asked me, I said, okay, Lord, if you want me to do this, please tell me that you want me to do this. I said, because I ain't the one to run and jump up in front of a camera. That's not me. And so I said, I remember we were talking and I said, Destiny, I'm waiting on my answer. So I said, okay, Lord, you got to tell me something. I got to give an answer. And I said, Lord, if you want me to do this, you're going to have to tell me the name of this. You're going to have to give me a date and time that I'm supposed to do this. So the next morning I was up doing my prayer and meditation. And then, when you're praying and meditating, you got to get quiet and do a listening side. So in the listening side, I heard serenity. He said, it's serenity. And I was like, okay. And I was like, Amy, okay, wait a minute, Lord. Wait, this really you? You want me to do this? And then it's Sunday, 6 p.m. I was like, oh my God. So whenever I'm praying and meditating, I have to look things up. So I said, okay, since this is God, let me go see what the real definition of serenity is. And so when I looked it up, it said the state of being calm, peaceful, and untroubled, an oasis of serenity amidst a bustling city. And I thought, oh my God, I thought about the turmoil, chaos, and everything that's going on in the world. And then when I read that it said being calm and peaceful, and in the midst of everything that's going on, I have this calm and peace. And even though I'm a federal employee, they could say goodbye tomorrow. I'm at calm. I'm peaceful with it. So that's how I knew it was God. And I said, okay, Lord, I'll answer the call. I have no idea what you want to do, what you want to say, but we're going to go with it. We're going to go with it. So, and then when we tried to do whatever you need to do to get this thing working, you came back and told me, you said, the S, somebody's got it with the S. And I said, okay, let's do a C. Let's do a C. And so she looked it up. She said, okay, it's available. I said, good. And then, of course, my first name starts with a C. So that just worked out good.
Yes, yes. And on top of that, y'all,
Yeah.
you got a theme song like I do. So it's like, we want to play that for you so you can listen to it, y'all. Is there any more you want to say before I just start this theme song?
No, just tell everybody to tune in. I'm looking forward to, having great conversation. And I want people to put stuff in the chat like we were doing with you tonight, because we want to talk about, and we want people to, comment. They might have a question. Let's dig into that question. And I would just want to say that, y'all, Destiny is the bomb.com. This girl, I am just so impressed with her and the things that she does, to be a young person, because y'all would consider me old school. Okay. I'm an old school baby boomer, but I love talking to her, interacting with her, because she's the bomb. She is the bomb. She can do some things, and she knows I am challenged sometimes when it comes to this social media stuff. We'll just put it out there. But, she's great. She's great. I love Destiny, and I want to see her podcast continue to grow.
Thank you. Thank you. So we about to get this theme song going, y'all. So
play it for him. Play it for him.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Welcome to Serenity, where we keep it real. Motivation and truth, that's the deal. Be authentic, be bold, let your light shine bright. Together we'll grow, heal, and keep it 1000% real. Serenity, be you, stay true. Find your voice in all you do. Serenity, you want space to thrive. Authentic living keeps dreams alive. Oh, yeah. Welcome to Serenity, where we keep it real. Motivation and truth, that's the deal. Be authentic, be bold, let your light shine bright. Together we'll grow, heal, and keep it 1000% real. Serenity, be you, stay true. Find your voice in all you do. Serenity, you want space to thrive. Authentic living keeps dreams alive. Serenity,
Yes, everybody. Tune in March 30th at 6 p.m. That's a Sunday, y'all. She goes on Sundays,
Mhm.
every other Sunday. And her topic on March 30th is why people hate the truth. And her two guests are Miss Rhonda Jones and Miss Sherry Hightower. Tune in. And it's not just a podcast for people that are older, it's for people that's younger too. She like she said, we gonna get our Marie Willis going on. You know what I mean? She gonna get her Marie Willis thing going on from sisters. You know, she gotta get some young people on there and talking to us and speaking life into us. But it's a keeping it 1,000%, y'all. And Miss Carlene, I wish you nothing but the best. And I know you are going to bless this platform every chance that you get. And I'm so excited with this partnership with Persperity Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. I am just so blessed. And I just thank God for how he's moving. He is really moving, and he's got some things that he wants us to say through us to other people. So I'm just looking forward to it. I know we're going to have a ball with it. I know it. We're just
Yeah,
going to
and
have
I'm telling
fun.
y'all, this is her podcast, so you won't see me unless I come on as a guest. So I'm telling y'all, tune in, y'all.
Oh, don't worry. She'll be
And
on there as a guest.
my
She'll be
mom
there.
said, she
Yeah.
said, watch
So,
out, podcast world. LOL, LOL.
yeah. You know what? Because I'm bringing Kingston on there. I'm bringing some of my younger people on there so that we can, you know, you got to see different generations. We got to come together and talk and hash it out because between the generations, we got a little misconception going here. You know, baby boomers will say, oh, generation millennials, they don't listen to nobody. They don't talk to nobody. They don't. Okay, but why? Let's
That's right.
dive into why. Why that is. Why we think they don't listen or they wired different or, hey, come on, let's
That's
talk
right.
about it.
Well, Miss Carlin, we don't want to get on any more information. Y'all tune in
Now that's all. They'll have to tune
March
in to get the
30th.
rest of it.
That's a Sunday.
Yeah.
Tune in, y'all. Y'all do not want to
Yes.
miss this because I'm telling you, why people hate
That
the truth. That's a topic,
six,
y'all. Come on now.
yeah, 6 p.m. Central Time. And we have to stress Central Time just in case they send it to people, relatives on the East Coast, West Coast, or whatever. It's 6 p.m. Central Time because that's going to be different for
Yes,
each
and I
coast.
want to thank you for coming on, Miss Miss
No,
Miss Carlin Carter, to bless this platform to announce your new podcast. Congratulations to you.
thank you for having
You're
me.
welcome,
Thank you.
and I'm so excited for you. There's so many other people excited for me on here too. So God bless you. And I'm gonna hit my theme song for a little bit. You can stay if you want to.
Yeah, girl, go ahead. I be over there dancing to yours now. I got to get it. Because see, mine's is more like rhythm and blues. But yeah,
Yeah, her song
come
is
on
like
with it.
she coming with it, y'all. That's why I had when I did that song, y'all. I wrote and produced and did all of that myself. But I did that. I said
Yes, she did.
that's her. Mom, I let my mom listen to it. She said, yeah.
Well, yeah, Rashana knows me. That's my sister. She knows.
All right, y'all. Thank you all for tuning in. And next week we got an amazing guest, and she better be ready. You know who you are if you watching. But tune in, y'all. We have some amazing guests for the rest of this month and in April. We're gonna continue on with this Persperity Podcast movement. Safe space for healing. See y'all next week.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Love you.
In the shadows we find our light. Through the struggles we will take flight. Healing hearts and mending minds. Together we'll leave the past behind. Welcome to Persperity Podcast, where hope is found. Voices rising up, breaking new ground. With every story shared, we grow and learn. In this journey of healing, it's our turn. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives.
See you all next week.
Mindful moments
Thank you for
equal
tuning in.